Going live. Hey guys, what's up? Happy Thursday. I'm feeling kind of lazy today. I'm lounging, and I was actually gonna call it. I was gonna say, hey, let's not do a show. I'm gonna take a nap instead. Lazy afternoon. But then I thought
You
about
was
it.
like,
I was like, how appropriate is it? Like, this is the couch show, and I'm on the couch. So, welcome to another episode.
somebody's getting spring fever over here.
Sure am. Welcome to another episode of the Couch Show, and welcome to our channel, Sibling Rivalry. I'm Lynn. That's Ray.
It's
And
officially spring around here because there's like 1,000,001 bugs all around me. I'm like, God, I hate it. The
they're
ants are
definitely coming
coming.
out.
So I gotta
Yep.
put up the ant traps. Freaking, you leave the light on outside, and you got a storm of like bugs that you gotta go through to like, go inside. Oh,
Already. And like, what's crazy to me? It's like, I don't know if like they just like freeze over the winter and like they just so they're dormant and then like once they thaw out, they're just alive again or what. But it's so crazy that there's no like it's not like a gradual change. It's just like either there's bugs or there's no bugs.
mm-hmm. Just happens. They just wake up like, what up? We're here.
Yeah.
and then the winter, like, being in the country, right? There's no escaping it. There's like the little country mouses all over the place, man. They're coming around and shit. I'm like, yo, get out of here.
You need a cat, man. My
I
cats,
know.
my
You
cats
did tell me
hunt
I gotta get a cat.
all year long. Like summer, winter, it doesn't matter. There's always like treats in the backyard for me. They're like, here, mom, eat. Like, oh, okay, thank you.
They're like, here you go. You look like you're hungry. And shouldn't it be the other way around? But they're bringing you food. That's
I
hilarious.
mean, that's what they're doing. They're bringing me food.
That's hilarious. It's cool though. That's cool.
Yep.
That means you're part of their tribe. You're part of the like we're always talking about on the show. Tribe. Find your tribe. Lynn has her cat tribe.
It's so funny too because my older cat is like he always teaches like the kittens that I bring into the house how to hunt. So he'll bring like a mouse that's like still half alive over the fence. And then like I always see like the kittens like playing with this poor mouse. I'm like, geez, just kill him already. Like,
you know what's funny though? You know what's funny? And this goes like nature will always go against this whole like woke narrative that's happening out there, right? So, as humans, we want us to all be bleeding heart and be like, yo, care for each other and all this. But nature shows, man, it's like survival of the fittest, man. There's literally a food chain. You can't deny that. And it's hilarious, with your cats. Like they're literally like, it's like a rite of passage for little kittens, right? With your older cat. And he's like, you need to hunt now.
Yep.
And here's this wounded animal. And it's like, but that's nature, right? So it's like, oh, you should save the mouse. That's probably what they're going to say on the comments. The mouse needs to be saved. Equal opportunity.
Well, dead or alive, I don't want anything to do with mice, so I'm just gonna let them do their thing.
I know.
Cats handle them.
I know. They're so obnoxious, man. But listen, we're in the country, so that's what we got to deal with, right?
Expected, yeah.
So Thursday, man. Happy Thursday, everybody out there. Another week, another dollar. Hopefully you're making your paper, you're stacking it up. And the weekend's coming up. What's the weekend plans, Lynn? What do you got going on?
Crickets. I don't have anything this weekend.
Yeah, I don't have anything either.
It's a quiet weekend.
Nothing.
But you know what? The kids were just on spring break. So this is the first weekend since it's spring break. So I think this weekend we're just going to be hanging out and not doing anything.
No, spring break was crazy. Did you see all the pandemonium that was happening in Miami?
Not at all. What happened in Miami?
Bro, they had to do a whole curfew and everything because it was just
Oh
crazy.
my God. All right. All right. All right.
Pull it
Have to
up.
get up.
Pull
I
it
gotta pull
up.
it up. Let's see
That's
what's
gonna be
going
one of our
on in the
t-shirts. I'm
world.
telling you. One of our t-shirts got to be pull it up. Because I'll say shit and you will be like, what? That's crazy, right? And then you pull it
I
up and
hear
you're like,
about
oh,
that.
no shit. That's crazy. Pull it up. My neighbors, I got the screen door over here. My neighbors up the hill probably like, what is this guy screaming? Pull it up. Miami, spring break.
I did spring break events. Let's see.
No, it was like they had
Review.
a curfew. They shut down.
Shutting
Yeah,
it
they
down. Spring break. Damn.
yeah they had to shut things down because of spring break. And there's videos of it though. I was watching the videos on Twitter, man. This shit was going crazy. There was like cars trying to go through. And people just like twerking in the middle of the street, wilding out.
The
Every
tragic events of
store.
spring break have hurt our image around the world. Damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were wilding, man. Stores getting robbed and shit. It's like a mob. It was like a mob of people just running in through the stores and shit. I was like, yo, this is
Proactive curfew
crazy.
for spring break, but that's for next year that they're saying.
Yeah, but this year it was crazy. I guess you know what it was. I mean, if you think about it though, but I mean, spring break. I mean, yeah, there was spring break last year. Because I was, you know what I'm getting at. Like we were locked down with Kofifi, and this is probably the
Right.
first like spring break since then. But I think there was spring break last year, and I heard like craziness too. But like this year was just crazy. So my buddy always told me Miami, the time to go to Miami is Memorial Day weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not like spring break. So
Yo, they were twerking at the red lights.
yeah, I told you that shit was crazy. They were trying to like drive, and like it was like bumper to bumper traffic jam because people just twerking in the middle of the streets.
Oh wow, there was definitely 2 fatal shootings on Ocean Drive over the weekend. Damn.
This weekend
It
or the
just
weekend
says
from
a March
that
weekend.
article.
Doesn't say which weekend.
Yeah, so that like the start of spring break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, that sucks, man. Can you imagine you just going ahead trying to have a good time? Like you've been cooped up all winter long, and you're like, yeah, I just want to go shake my ass. And then the next thing, pop, pop. Oh, damn, I'm dead. There's this one video that was going around on Twitter, man, and it's been haunting me because it was like a store. I want to say it's like in the Bronx, but it's probably not the Bronx. But the guy was like, I guess these guys came in. They were like, yo, can you get something behind the glass? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then the guy walks in front of the one guy, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you see the guy, he just shoots him point
Holy
blank.
crap.
And then like you could see like he's trying to like he's still there and he's like trying to get up. And then the
Mm-hmm.
guy just shoots him on the ground. And I was like, damn, man.
Damn, and there's
And
no
then
context behind it. They're just showing you crazy videos.
no, it was the camera. It was the camera, the security camera in the store.
Right.
And I'm glad, it's sad, but you know that like shootings like this happen every freaking day,
Every
right?
day.
Multiple
All our
shootings in
major
cities
cities.
every single day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yet you have these shootings that happen, and of course, the media will run with this and say, "Oh, we got to start banning these guns. Got to start banning these guns." But yet they'll never talk about the street crime that's happening out here. So I'm
Right.
glad that Twitter is taking up to show these type of videos because it's like, look, the problem's not guns. Guns are just a tool. The problem is the people who are willing to break the law. So as
Mm-hmm.
much as you want to put more gun laws, right, on law-abiding citizens like you and me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go and shoot up a store like that, right?
Right.
The people who are gonna shoot that are the people who are prone to break the rules. Which this last shooting showed. This last one with the bank, the guy who came in and the bank fired him and he went and he shot up the place. He got the gun illegally,
Mm.
right? So it's
And
like,
that's a lot of the times that's what it is. They're illegal guns,
yeah,
or guns that were sold, under like scrupulous
yeah.
circumstances. That's like questionable, and
So like the narrative is out here. Oh, we got to ban ARs, we got to ban guns, and all this stuff. But the reality is like there's tons of shootings that are happening all the time in inner cities, and it's because it's criminals doing illegal things. They have
yeah.
illegal weapons,
Not
and
only that,
they're
not
never
only
gonna
that,
bring that up on the news. Never gonna bring that up on the news.
they also, we also see a correlation between like the the poor community and crime. You know,
Right.
like when people are tight for money, when their pockets are hurting, they're more likely to commit crimes.
Right. And that's the reason why, like, a lot of these stores started laxing, or not really, a lot of not the stores, the state started laxing because they knew, with the economy going bad,
Mhm.
we're going into a recession, inflation is sky high, right? um, they knew, like, hey, we can't prosecute. We're gonna have our hands full prosecuting all these people who are committing crimes when the times are pretty much, calling for it, right?
Right.
And I'm not justifying any of it. It's wrong, right? We got laws for a reason. We got to be civilized for a reason, right? That's what keeps our society intact. But they lack the rules, and now you hear like Walmart, you hear like a lot of like Whole Foods. A lot of these stores are starting to pull out of like these major cities. Like they're
Mhm.
pulling out of I know San Francisco's one. I think Portland's another one. Like all these places that you heard were on the forefront of abolish the police, right? They're the ones that are letting crime go high, and now they're hurting because these major stores are just saying enough is enough. We're out of here. We're pulling out. I think
Yeah.
Walgreens is like another one. Like a lot of these places, and there's videos of that too, where they're just going in, walking in, because I think a lot of these cities they're like you could steal up to $1,000
Mhm.
without being
Definitely in the West Coast. Hmm.
yeah, you can steal up to $1,000 until like somebody calls the cops on you. So you'll see people were just walking in, and they're just taking stuff, and nobody's stopping them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like so crazy too because I think we all like here and there will, try and get away with something in a store. But I couldn't imagine walking into a store and just blatantly just like picking up a bunch of shit and walking out. Like,
I was
what?
thinking, man, $1,000. Think about what you could get for $1,000. You could literally walk into a Best Buy, grab a PS5, and walk out with it. PS5, like a couple of controllers and a game, and walk out.
I don't
And
know.
they're
I think
just
you're
gonna look
teetering
at you,
real close
be
to
like,
that
"Have a good
thousand
day,"
dollar limit though.
huh?
You're teetering real close to that $1,000 limit.
Yeah, but still, that's right, like right about there,
Yeah.
like right believe on it. It's like, nah, there's only 800. There's only eight
Hmm.
hundos, man. We're good. There's only 800. That's crazy, man.
So now I wonder, like, what is the purpose of them creating those kind of laws? Is it more so that with the mentality of, oh, people are actually going to go and they're going to get necessities like needed supplies, or is it more so that they don't want to have to deal with the petty crime?
I think I think it's partial with the courts being so backlogged.
Hmm.
Like I like look at Trump. Trump just got arraigned, right? And they just brought him in, and they were like, "Oh, you got to go to court." And they're saying that he's going to be seen like sometime in 2024 or 2025 because of their backlog. I'm like, that's crazy. So it's 2023 right now. You're talking about 2 years, right when we're in the heat of the whole like election cycle, right? And
Hmm.
that's when he's supposed to have his court date.
Which is
So
also
if you
crazy because it's unconstitutional to push it out too far.
right,
You have the right to a speedy trial.
speedy
So at that
trial,
point,
right?
it's like, oh,
Exactly.
well, they
But
took
what's
too
a speedy?
long.
But you got to also understand the definition, speedy. Like we think it's speedy, like of I order a package from Amazon, I get it in 2 days, right?
Right.
But speedy is by the terms of like what's the average court date, right? When in New York City. So if
Hmm.
there's such a huge backlog, right? Your average could be 6 months.
Mm.
That could be the average. So they're like, that is speedy, or something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitting right now, but it's like that's probably a portion of it was like, hey, if we do this, then we can take off this backlog of all these menial crimes, right?
Hmm.
Mind you, it's not bad. Well, I guess it is bad for the bigger companies because they're the ones that are pulling out, right? But it's detrimental for like your small mom and pop shops. Like if you hear that, like you hear like, hey, up to $1,000, and you do inventory in your store, right? What's the point of even having a store there?
Hmm.
Now, granted, I know like a lot of small people, small businesses, they can't just pack up and move. But at that some point, you're just like, well, I better insure the shit out of this store.
Right. Right.
That's the
But you
best
know
thing
what?
you
When
can
you go
do.
into smaller like mom and pop shops, I feel like they're more likely to like follow you around the store and be more kind of like aware of what you're doing versus going into like the big box stores. Like, you know, you go in there, there's no employees around.
But I get what you're saying. Like they could say something, but think about it. Who are they going to call? If this is the guidance that it's given to the police, right?
Hmm.
And mind you, if the police have been, cut in half, their staff is down, by half or whatever, and they're already told, you can't arrest somebody if they haven't stole this much money. Like
Hmm.
who's there to call? At
Mm.
that point, you need like a neighborhood watch or, Second Amendment, be an armed citizen. But of course, that's a whole nother argument for another day.
Right.
But it's man, it's crazy. It's crazy. A part of me, like when I see videos like that, I'm like, oh man, you could just be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
It's like I love being out, but that's like a justification just to stay home.
Yep.
Like just keep your ass at home. Because you could just be at the wrong place at the wrong time and bam.
Hmm. And we
Some of the most
see we
stupidest
hear
things
about that
too.
a lot, especially with like the Netflix like docus. They're
Mm-hmm.
always talking about how you know, like murderers, they'll just like choose a random victim. I mean, you
No,
remember with like the DC shooter, it was anybody. It
yeah.
was
Oh yeah,
anybody
I
was
remember that. I
good.
remember that, and
Yo.
I remember back at the time I was living out in DC, or
Mhm.
in Virginia, and I remember driving back home, to see you guys, and then coming back and just seeing on 95, in Baltimore, all the way
Mhm.
down from it started like around Baltimore, all the way down 95, all the way down to DC. They were just random white vans being pulled over left and right,
Mm.
and you see like undercover cop cars, and like they were full force looking for that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it turned out he wasn't even in the white van.
No, he wasn't. He was in he. Oh, did you see that on Netflix? Like he had how he like they carved out the back of the car,
Yes.
so
Yep.
he even had like a little peek hole in the trunk. So he
Yep.
didn't even have to get out.
Taking
They
people
were just
out.
in there, like
Oh
just
my
taking people out.
god.
That was crazy. And then I remember too. This was when I was still in, so I remember like I stayed on base. I was like, I'm done. I know I'm safe on base. I was getting gas on there. I was like, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yep.
I was like, I am not getting taken out because he was just they would random, and that I think that's what like that was a really good heightened sense of fear because that was at a point where I know it was after like 9/11, but it was also just the sheer randomness of it. That's where everybody was like on high alert
Right.
because it was like, hey, some lady was walking out of Michael's, bam, some guy was
Mhm.
walking out over here. Like it was so random, and people were just doing their day to day things that that was like more realistic to people as opposed to like 9/11.
Mhm.
Right, 9/11 happened, and then it was like, all right, we're going to Afghanistan and Iraq. And though it was, a lot of people, natural reaction is like, oh, it's heartbreaking, our thoughts and prayers and all that, but it's still happening over there, right?
Right.
As opposed to like this, it was just like, man, it was crazy. I remember nobody was doing anything. It was a
Mm.
ghost town everywhere. It was like, and if you were out, then people were like, what are you doing out here?
Right.
Go home.
Right. Because then you have to ask yourself, like, is it worth it? Is it worth your life?
Right, exactly. But it was
Mm.
crazy. Like people were just going shopping, like going to grocery store, getting
Yeah.
food, and then they were just taking people out. Yeah, I remember that, man. The DC sniper. That's crazy. A lot of like, where were you when this happened? Like 9/11 is another one. I remember what I was doing exactly
Mhm.
that morning of.
Yeah. 9/11. I was in school. I was in like middle school. I was young.
I actually that day started with me because at the time I was in the barracks, and my roommate he he was military police, right?
Mm.
So I was dead in the sleep, and all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang on the door, and they were like, "You need to go. We're all going in." And they're like, "What? What's going on?" He was like, "What do you mean we're all going getting called in? What?" Because he was sleeping too, and they were like, "We all gotta go in. Something happened, to the World Trade Center." And then I walked down the hallway because there was like a community room with TVs, and sure
Mhm.
enough, we were watching it. And I was just like, after like maybe like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I was just like, well, I'm getting dressed. I'm going in. And I just went in. Nobody called me to go in. I just went in
Yeah.
because it's like, we got to go to work. And then sure enough, it was crazy like the next 2 weeks after that.
Insane.
Yeah. Did they cancel school for you? You said you
No,
were in
they
middle
didn't
school?
cancel school, but they definitely like kind of shut things down. It was kind of like a stay in place order
Kind of
kind of
deal?
thing where we weren't really traveling from class to class. They weren't telling us anything at first, and then they kind of like rolled in the TVs. You remember how the TVs were like on like the big old rolling tray
Yeah.
thing?
Oh, yeah.
They showed us, yeah, they told us what happened, and like they showed us the video. They were in school.
Wow. That's crazy.
Hmm.
That's crazy because now this day and age, they wouldn't do that. I mean, I know like the kids will be getting stuff on their phones and everything, but they
Right.
wouldn't do all that. If anything, they'd be like, all right, we're gonna cancel school. Like I've
Hmm.
noticed like that's one thing with all the stuff that's been going on lately is like schools have started to close down more. Like
Yeah.
you were telling me something, like there was a protest in New York and they were like, we're gonna close school.
Yep.
And it was like nothing related to like the schools,
Hmm.
but it was just like the sensitivity of it. But I have a buddy who made a good point about going back to these school shootings, and like every time I say it, it breaks my heart to hear about it because as a father, you know, I could, I would never want to, I don't have any enemies. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, even if I did have enemies. I mean, it's a tragedy to hear those stories and hear about how you know just think about the mindset that people have to go through in that scenario. And this is why once again when they bring the conversation to weapons, right, guns and banning guns and all this, they're going in the wrong direction. It's like
Hmm.
you need to address the mental issue, and as a as Americans we need to start addressing it. Like this is our life now, we need to live with this, right? As
Absolutely.
more people become unstable, we need to start fighting back as Americans. And my buddy made a good point. He was like, "Yo, why don't they have, um, on the weekends when nobody's at the schools,
Hmm.
why doesn't like the local police like go to the schools and actually run drills? Because
Hmm.
a lot of the times when you're seeing like, hey, there's a live shooting activity, they don't know where to go. They don't
Mm.
know where to go. They don't know how to do anything. So why not do like live drills on
Right.
the weekends, right? And I guarantee that. And you know why I know this? Because just the heart that we have as Americans, as much as
Hmm.
people are like, "Oh, Americans are so evil," we do have heart, right? I know if a lot of these cops were like, "Hey, it's going to be on your off time, off duty, but it's to help the local schools in case of something. Would you want to do a drill on the weekend?" I guarantee 9 out of 10 will say, "Yeah."
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
last guy is probably going to be like, "Well, I have another commitment or something like that."
Hmm.
Right? I'm a dad myself, and I got to do something with my kids. But most of the time, they're going to say, "Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
I'll volunteer my time so we can do these drills." And I don't understand why we don't promote that. And I
Hmm.
think that the reason why we don't do it is because there's that hesitation that if we get prepared for the situation, right, then we're accepting the situation or something like that. I think that's what it is. It's like people don't really want to be like, hey, this is a reality. There's these like mass shootings and this could be our, us moving forward. How do we address that, right? How do we prepare for that? Like, I think that's the hesitation. It's like, no, the people, they don't want to address it.
Right.
So they're going for the obvious, the tool, when really we should be questioning, the people.
Hmm.
But
And honestly, I would love to see a huge shift in our in public education and just the curriculum itself in what we're teaching our young children in school. And I think if we taught them more about mindset and taught them more about that inner reflection in school, then we would see a shift in our young people being so desperate to fit in and so polarized and just depressed. That's what's going on. This anxiety
you
and depression
you
is just too much.
you are 100% correct, and they're not getting that guidance from home or school, and
Hmm.
they're getting it from TikTok, they're getting it from the media, they're getting it from politics, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like they a lot of kids are looking for that call to action,
Hmm.
right? They're looking for what's my purpose, what's the whole point of this. And especially when you see on TikTok, and TikTok, Instagram, it's all about popularity, right? It's about your looks, it's about your status, it's about, your lifestyle, right? All that stuff. So there is competition there. And it's really hard to find your self worth when you're constantly competing with somebody else.
Hmm.
And you're 100% correct in the sense that the school really doesn't teach that,
Right.
right? What really a lot of the schools are being called to is they're radicalizing kids to have this call to action because they feel like there's injustice all over in the world, right? And
Mm-hmm.
granted, there are some injustice out there, but there's still this like victim narrative that is being, populated and promoted through all these kids. And when they feel lost, they're gonna get called to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really sad. It's really sad. And you're right. Like they really should be focusing more on, and I wish that when they talk about the mental issue, that they actually address it like the way you just said it, where it's like, find your self balance, find that, self love, find that whole, find your inner peace, right? Find, find you.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, it took me, I'm saying that, but I'm still trying to find me,
Right.
right? And it took me a long time to understand that I got to find me and put myself first, above other people,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it takes a lot of work, but people have to understand that it's a constant battle. You got to constantly work on it.
And I definitely feel, like introducing these concepts to children at a young age when they're better able to kind of like soak stuff up. They're
Mm-hmm.
still that's why they say, like, you introduce language at an earlier age and you introduce all these different concepts at earlier ages because, children's minds are just sponges. So I feel like if you, teach them these concepts when they're younger, it would just create a completely different society. We would have
You're
a
100.
completely different
Yeah,
world around us.
you're 100% correct. And honestly, um, it's hard because it is a vicious cycle right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have the last generation that wasn't taught that either, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones that are raising the kids now, right? So it's hard. Life gets caught up in there too. But, the same way we teach kids at a very young age right from wrong, it's the same way we could teach them that.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks my heart that I keep hearing, these stories. We go back to the shootings and all this stuff, and just these videos that are going out there, and it's just the lack of caring for, your fellow man.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the humanity? I'm like, where's the humanity? That's what I keep saying. And then
Right.
even just going back to like some of the comments, and sometimes I'll admit, I got a short temper some at times, and I'll post a comment or something on Twitter, right, or YouTube or something like that, and I'll be like, but I'll take a second, right? I'll take a second and be like, wait, you could do better. Maybe you
Mm-hmm.
could come at this at a better way, right? This is a complete stranger, right? And you're gonna say something, say it in a tactful way, and I try
Mm-hmm.
to do that sometimes. I know I may not be perfect with it, but I think that's what we need to do is like take that extra second. And I keep going back to the whole like the shopping cart because that analogy, you know, when somebody told me that, it was like the perfect analogy of what's going on in society. The whole
Mm-hmm.
shopping cart, putting it back, it's there's no obligation to do that, right? You're not breaking a rule, you're not breaking a law, you're not doing anything. So you can leave that shopping cart wherever you want to. But taking it back is just pure decency,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially when if that shopping cart hits your car, right? The next time you park there and it hits your car, you're gonna be irate, right?
Oh
It's
my God.
karma.
I have a story for y'all. So I pulled into a parking spot, put my car in park. I didn't turn my car off yet. I was kind of like gathering my things. And here comes a shopping cart and it's coming, like zooming at me. And like it was going to hit my car. So I threw my car in reverse. I backed up. This is my car. It's like going towards the next car. And like somebody like came running and grabbed the cart. And I was just like, huh. Like that was just such a much like a more better solution for somebody to actually grab the cart than to just move out of the way. I just moved.
You
I
you
didn't
know
want
what's
it to hit
funny?
my
You know what's
car.
funny? I've seen so many movies that for some reason I thought you were gonna say that you kicked your car in reverse and then you hit somebody.
Oh my
Oh, like
God.
you backed into somebody
No.
else like that because that would have been a movie. Like that would have been in the movies. Like oh shit, because
Oh
you're
my.
right. Like nobody thinks like I could just get out and stop this thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw it coming. I was like, that's going to hit my car. And I was like, no, I'm going to move my car. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's it's that shopping cart analogy, man. And most people, which, hey, that's a hint though. That's a hint. If you're dating somebody, this goes for anybody. If you're dating somebody, right, give it a month, 2 months, go shopping with them and
Mm-hmm.
see if they return the cart. Let them push the cart by some chance. Let them push the cart. Get to your car and all that, and then do the test. See if they actually take the cart back.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, if they can't take the cart back, I think that's grounds to be like,
Red
yeah, it
flag.
ain't gonna work out. Yeah, it ain't gonna work out. You just don't have a care for humanity.
Yeah, but what if you're somebody who doesn't return the cart and you test somebody with this? And it's like, what's even the point of testing them if you don't personally return the cart?
No, of course. And then the person's not gonna. No, I'm saying to the people who do return the cart. This is like a pure like test. Like, yeah, nah, you don't return the cart. I'm done with you. That's also like, but you know what? It's like little things in life too. Cause like, Chicago, by me, there's a shop, right? And for the people who don't know what ShopRite is, it's just a grocery store, right? And it's in the little shopping community. And recently they added a new gym. So the gym is there, ShopRite's there, and they're all sharing, so the parking is like horrendous here.
Right.
And I just see people just getting mad, trying to like fight for parking and all that. When I'm like, I could literally like park over here and just get my steps in.
Right.
So I go right in, boop, boop, and then go get
Especially
my
for the
steps
gym
in.
people. Especially for the gym people. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, the gym people are the worst. They constantly fighting for that front parking spot. I'm like, you're literally going to the gym. Just get your steps in.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, man. It's funny watching people sometimes. Like I definitely do like to people watch. Like that was one of my favorite things to do when I went to Vegas. When me and my buddy would go and like around lunchtime or something, we'll get like a balcony thing and we'll just watch people. And it'll be like more. It was more like between like around like 5 or 6, right to like about 8 when you got to go get ready for the night. So it was about that because people start drinking, right? Because around dinner time they start drinking and all that. And it was really cool to just people watch because you see some crazy shit.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like when I was younger, that was something my friends and I would do. We would go to the mall and just watch people whisper, talk shit, giggle, And if you think about it, like kids nowadays, they don't do that.
No, they're so stuck on their phones. People don't look up.
They're just staring at those screens.
Yeah. No. Oh, another dating advice. Another dating advice I'm gonna throw out there. If you're looking for a long-term commitment or a long-term relationship, stop trying to find these people in the clubs or at the bars or even on Tinder. Go out there, live your life, enjoy your life, and meet people like old school. Actually go meet somebody. Like go to an art museum or something, right? Go do activities, go to the park, and actually go up to somebody and say hello again. Like I feel like we stopped doing that,
Yeah.
And bonus points, if you're really looking for somebody who has a good heart, go to a community service. Chances are you might see somebody there that's also doing community service, and that kind of weeds them out. Like they're a decent person if they're trying to help their community, right? It's like I don't know, man. People are so stuck on their phones. And listen, I'm guilty of it. I got technology. I am a nerd. I love my tech, but sometimes I'll just like I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I just want to leave it and just go out.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh shit, look at my phone. Yeah. And I've done that. Like I've been in a moment and I completely forgot my phone. Like I might have left it in the car or something, and then I'll come back, and then for the next hour I'm just on the phone, catching up. Yeah, no. So you went to go see Mario?
I did. I went to see the Mario movie with my children. Took them out. Had a nice movie
afternoon. You went to see it before I did. I saw it yesterday. I actually saw it yesterday.
Yeah, we went to see it on Monday.
Nice. And let me guess, they had a blast.
Yeah, the kids enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, like I was giggling with it. There was just so much in there that's just so Mario, they really brought you into the world, like with like
a lot
the
of
little
Easter
jingles,
eggs.
like all the the music that they have, and all his sayings that he would say like while you're playing the game, and it was a really nice movie.
The only problem I had with it was at the end when they finally got the invincibility star. I was like, there's no way. I said it mad loud too. I was like, this shit should be over by now. Because every time you got that star, that thing would only last for like 3 seconds.
That's true. That's very true.
Why you guys it was a whole montage and how they were whooping Bowser's butt with the damn star. And I was like, there's no way that thing would last that long. Yeah, that was the
No,
only
you know what? You
that
know what did catch my attention? Something I wanted to bring up on the show is, so you know how the whole like Illuminati like can't even think of the words. What the hell is it called when nobody believes them? They're like, oh,
secret
they're just
society
conspiracy
or
theorists, right?
conspiracy.
You know,
Yeah,
the whole Illuminati conspiracy. It's like, oh, they have to tell us what they're doing before they do it.
yeah.
So there was like that little star that was in a cage, and she was all like, "Woe is me," kind of thing. And she said a line. She was like, um, "In an insane world, it's the sane that's going to be called crazy." I was
Yep.
like, "Yo, that's what's happening."
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And that's what we're living in right now. That little star was getting on my nerves, though. It's like there's only so much negativity I could take, man. Listen. I'm a very optimistic person all the time, but that little star was just like, I was like, oh, come on, man.
It kept cutting to the star too. The star had so much to say.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my only gripe with it. It was the damn invincibility star. I was like, man, this is lasting way too long. Oh, that and because they did the throwback of the raccoon Mario where he could
Mhm.
fly, and I was like, oh, that was from Super Mario Brothers 3, right?
Yep.
But the one thing that got me was they didn't do the boot. Where in you remember when he could get inside the boot and then he would like use the boot?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't do that part. I was like, that was the only part I was bummed about. I was like, damn, because I
And
like
they
they
still
even
have
did
the
the
second one.
like they did the whole like even the Mario Kart where you can choose your car and everything and they had the
Right.
glider. I was
Yep.
like, yo, that shit from Mario Kart.
Yeah, that was really cool. And it was cool too that they brought in like the newer version of Mario Kart 2 where they were doing like the hoverboards.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was kind of
the little
cool.
hover wheels and everything. They would switch it back and forth.
It was awesome when he did the jump off the rainbow, because I remember that in like the original board, like you like do the
Yeah,
jump to the next part. It
and
was like
then
a
you're on the
shortcut.
rainbow.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. No, that was pretty cool. And then it had its moments with Peach at times, right?
Mhm.
Trying to be a girl boss and all that, but it wasn't on the nose. It
Right.
was very tolerable. And the thing that I did like about it was that she wasn't like you could see like she was having something like a connection with Mario.
Hmm.
And it's like if you go through like a journey like that, there's gonna be some kind of connection, be it kind of some kind of chemistry, or you're gonna have some kind of friendship, right? Even with Donkey Kong, even like him and Mario had their little tit for tat, but when
Hmm.
push comes came to shove, right? They were like, "We're the good guys," Donkey Kong saved Mario. Spoiler alert, right? Donkey Kong saved Mario, then Mario saved Donkey, right? So it's like that's that fellowship, right?
Hmm.
Where a lot of these movies nowadays, they kind of forget that. Like they're trying to focus on being that girl boss,
Hmm.
where she has to constantly be that girl boss, and she's talking down against her male counterparts, right?
Right.
And it's like I'm glad they did that. So that's where like I found the balance. Like yeah, she had her girl boss moments, but she was still she had heart, and I
Hmm.
respect that. And that's why I really liked the movie, man. It was just like it went against this whole like woke narrative, and it was just like, look, this is your childhood, this is your memories, and we're gonna respect that. And I'm glad that it's making as much money as it's gonna make. I'm hoping it gets $1 billion.
Hmm.
Shit, $2 billion. Give it all the end game money.
Yeah, it was definitely it
and,
was.
yeah, Endgame I think made like $3 billion.
Mhm. Ah,
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping because it's been like almost 30 years since Nintendo licensed their properties for movies.
mhm,
So the first movie, the Mario Brother movies back in like the 90s or whatever,
mhm.
like it bombed so bad that I think what was the last movie was what Pokemon, like Pikachu Detective Pikachu or whatever. And that was
Mhm.
like a couple of years ago, and then they finally did Mario because that did well, right? So I'm hoping that this opens up to more of their properties, and like I said, I'm rooting for like a Zelda movie. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Zelda, Smash Brothers, Smash Bros.
Yeah, the Smash Bros movie.
Bros.
They build it up to like Endgame where they have like because they hinted at spoiler alerts, they hinted at Yoshi coming next.
Mhm.
So they build up to like they do Yoshi, Pikachu, the Zelda movie, and then they have all those movies and they come together like the Avengers and they do like
Mhm.
The Smash Bros. Movie. Oh, that take my money. Take my money, Nintendo. Take my money. But you know what was cool seeing? So you know how we see like Marvel has like that Marvel intro,
Hmm.
and like they did it for like Stan Lee when he passed away. They did one for the Black Panther
Hmm.
when Chadwick Boseman passed away, right? But it was actually like it really like as soon as the movie started and they did DreamWorks, and then they did like the Nintendo logo, like hey, this is their logo now for movies. Like that to me was like, yo, this is start of something here. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited. My kids are excited, and I hope they do well, and I hope they put more movies out there.
Stamp of approval. Psh.
And I hope because it is Universal and they have Universal Studios, there is talks of them bringing Mario World. Well, they have
Mhm.
the park already. I think it's in Japan, but there's talks about bringing one down to Orlando. So I'm looking forward to that. Sign me up. Take my
Right.
money. I'm bringing the kids. I mean, it's just like I said, in a few episodes ago, is there's one thing having your childhood, but then it's another thing when your childhood stays around and it evolves, right? So it's
Right.
like you could then pass it on down and be like, hey, this is what I grew up with, and now you get to have it. So, kudos, 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 kudos.
Yep. Yeah, I was definitely feeling, nostalgic throughout the movie. They did a great
Yeah,
job of incorporating like all the little things that I remember from the games.
yeah, and the movie is breaking records. I think they broke Frozen 2, and
Ooh,
it's
nice.
on track. I think it's the number one opening weekend for an animation.
Mm.
So, and they were trying to say they were like, "Oh, the box office, nobody's going because of Kofifi," which
Hmm.
this is definitely a shot across the way to Disney because it's like, look, Disney, we're making money, so all your excuses that you got,
Right.
you might want to reflect on what you're doing on your side because all their Pixar movies have been bombing, right?
Hmm.
Their Marvel movies are bombing, right? Like if you think about what Disney owns, they have Pixar, they have Star Wars, they have Marvel, and all their properties are failing.
Mm.
So it's like, what are you doing, Disney? What are you doing? And they try to say, oh, it was Kofifi, or oh, it's this, it's the movie, it's fatigue, right? The superhero fatigue, or it's animation fatigue. That's all their excuses. But here's Mario kicking it in the box office. So
Yeah.
yeah, over the weekend was a Star Wars celebration. So it's
Hmm.
their like annual like, hey, this is what we're going to be doing for Star Wars, and and they mentioned that they have three more movies coming out, and one of them is they're bringing Rey back from the, the last three sequels.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh my god, you're doubling down, aren't you? You guys are doubling down. Good luck. But at this point, I'm gonna like go full, like I said with the whole like clown world, like let them go full force
Hmm.
because they don't get it yet. So they're gonna do this movie. They're gonna put this movie out. It's gonna bomb miserably, and then hopefully, the CEO of Lucasfilm will get fired, and they'll put somebody else who understands Star Wars. So I'm all for it. I'm like, let's go. Let's expedite it. Let's get it out next year.
Hmm.
Let's move it full
And so,
force.
it's crazy that we're talking about Star Wars now. So, the kids and I arrived early for the previews and everything. And there was definitely a preview of the Star Wars experience in, the Disney World parks.
Hmm.
And I didn't really understand the commercial. Like, I only knew what it was because we've spoken about it. And at the end, they were like, oh, you can live it live or some shit like that. But while I
Hmm.
was watching it, I did not understand their ad at all. I was like, there, what are they doing?
So what it is? It's a hotel that they
Mhm.
made. They built this like really expensive, super expensive hotel that when you walk in, it feels like you're in a Star Wars spaceship, like a big like cruiser, right? And even the rooms, you go to the rooms, they all look like Star Wars rooms and everything. There's no windows, there's nothing, right? And what you're supposed to do is they encourage you, like if you're going to stay there, mind you, it's a 2 day experience, so you got to stay for 2 days.
Mhm.
I believe it's like $6,000 for a family of four, for the 2 days, right? And when you get there, they encourage you to role play. So they have clothes that you can, like they suggest either you bring your own clothes from home or they have a store where you can actually buy costumes and all that. So you go there, and while you're there, they shuttle you back and forth from that hotel to the MGM Studios where they have the Star Wars uh, park, right? So they have the amusement park with the rides and everything. So they shuttle you back and forth. And when they shuttle you, once again, you're in clothes and everything. So like you're in engulfed in this whole experience, right? Deep down inside, I do want to go. And the only reason why I'm hesitant, one, so of course, it's expensive, right? But two, it's still focused on Rey, right? Rey and Kylo and all that. And I don't like those characters. So if they were to change those characters and it was like the traditional ones, or even the ones from the animations, like if it was something like, oh, there's Mando or Ahsoka or something like that, yeah, I'd be all aboard for it. But I don't want to see Rey. And they have like they built this lightsaber, which the clips is hilarious because she'll have this like they built this lightsaber where you hold it, right, and it actually comes out and expands, but it's very fragile. So there's like this scene, and you can find it on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, where she comes out, she holds it, it comes out, and they're like, oh, and then all of a sudden she puts it down and she switches over for the one to battle with. I'm like, you paid $6,000 for that? Oh, I'm like,
That's funny. What the heck? I would not be okay with that. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right?
How do you switch out your prop mid-scene?
Yeah, exactly. So it was like the hotel was open like 7 days a week, so you can book it. But because nobody is going, right? Nobody's going. It's too expensive. It's corny because it's Rey. They cut it back to 2 days out of the week. So it's like only operational, I don't know, Thursday, Friday. And that's the only way you could book it.
Right.
When it was open like full, the whole time. Because, they have people that are in costume. They have shows. They have performance. They got to pay their performers, right?
Yeah.
They got to pay their actors and actresses, right? So it's bombing. It's bombing. And I recently went to the park, to the Star Wars at MGM Studios. And once again, you go there, you're looking for like Darth Vader merch, Yoda, all that stuff. That stuff's not there. It's all the Rey stuff. It's all Kylo, Rey. Like Kylo's walking around. We saw Kylo, Chewbacca's walking around. But all the stuff is from the trilogies, the sequel trilogies, not the originals.
The new ones.
And I'm like, do you know the cash machine that you have with the original trilogy? And because of the ego of your current Lucasfilm CEO, you're just gonna not like. I thought Disney wanted to make money. Like, you don't want to make money? Like, Darth Vader? You don't have Darth Vader in your park. That's crazy. Right. That's crazy.
How do you have Star Wars without Darth Vader?
Yes, that's crazy. But they don't have any. They don't have any of the originals. They don't have Luke, Han.
I could definitely see like R2 rolling around and.
No, they don't have any of those. I mean, they have R2 because he was in the sequel trilogies, but they're all big on BB-8 and all that. Like all these new characters, and they're doubling down because here it comes. The new movie's coming down. Was it 2025 that they announced it? That's gonna come out. And I'm like, yeah, full steam ahead, go, so that you can lose a shit ton of money and you can finally fire her. And hopefully you change the parks around, and hopefully you pull the extended stories, and you will start making Star Wars great again. That's still from the MAGA thing, but let's make Star Wars great again. Yeah, but the other announcement over the Star Wars celebration was that they are the Mando show is out, season 3, right? They have an Ahsoka show coming out, and they're gonna tie all these shows to a movie that's gonna be in theaters. Which to me, I don't understand how that's gonna work, because like people who don't watch the shows, what are they gonna? They're not gonna really know what's going on, right? So I don't know. I'm excited for it, right? Because I watch the shows and it's like, okay, it's gonna culminate into a movie. But I'm
Right.
like, just regular Joe Schmo who doesn't really watch the shows, are they gonna want to go see this movie?
Hmm.
Who
I mean,
knows?
maybe. I mean, I feel like if you go to the movies, it's because you're somebody who goes to the movies.
Right.
I can't even say that because I don't go to the movies like that, and I showed up for Mario.
No, I think no, I think there's a camp. I think there is a camp of people who do go like they just want popcorn flicks.
Hmm.
And there's people who are casual Star Wars fans, right? They'll go see a Star Wars movie, but they don't really follow it like that. They're not diehard, right? And I feel like they're the ones who will probably go see the new Ray movie, right?
Hmm.
They'll probably still go see the Mando one. Be like, oh yeah, I've seen that character. Oh, okay, cool. And they'll probably go see it. They probably won't know what the hell's going on because that's like going to see Endgame and not seeing like the first,
16
Infinity Wars, right?
movies. Yeah.
Right. Or even like going into Infinity Wars, right? And you see all these characters. I mean, it was dope as all hell, but like you don't know any of their backstories,
Hmm.
right? Like, wait, like there's a Spider-Man and an Ant-Man? What? Like you don't know, right? So, and like you'll see of course, some of the characters are iconic, right? But I don't know. This movie's not gonna have any of those iconic guys, right? Like you're not gonna have Liu Kang or any of those guys, right? You're just gonna some random like, oh, is that Boba Fett? No, that's Mandalorian. That's a different guy. Oh, he looks like Boba Fett though. And then the
Is
the
that the only
last
movie you
movie,
saw?
huh?
Is that the only movie you saw? Was Mario?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I went to go see it yesterday. I saw it yesterday.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and then they also announced another movie where it's the start is the dawn of the Jedi. So it's gonna be like the start of um just like how Jedi started, how they found the Force and everything. But
Hmm.
this is my theory because I'm like they're doubling down on Rey, so I feel like Rey is gonna somehow go back in time, and then she's gonna be the one that started the whole Jedi, and then somehow she's gonna go back into the future and save Mando in the Mando movie, and it's all gonna culminate to all hail Rey, she's the greatest of all time.
Hmm.
So really, really secretly, it's a trilogy, and Rey's just gonna do it all. She's gonna fix everything.
We'll see.
uh,
You just hate that character so much.
I really do. I really do. I really do.
I don't even think it's her, the character itself. I think it's more so, the disappointment from being a Star Wars fan to seeing kind of where they went with it.
And it's not. Listen, the actress, bless her heart, like she's in a bad spot because I know like half of the fans don't like her. She's a sweetheart. I've seen her in other movies. She's a great actress and everything. And I wish her success in being an actor. But her role is dried up. Like I think I've only seen her in one or two movies after Star Wars, right?
Hmm.
I think she's kind of got that Star Wars stank on her, and it's not in a good way.
Mm.
Like Harrison Ford, in a good way after Star Wars, he had all these roles and he's iconic in so many movies. I mean, think about it. He's in two franchises, right? That I could just think off at the top of my head, Star Wars and Indiana Jones, right?
Hmm.
But it's still Harrison Ford, right? He's in so many movies.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And I
Which
don't
is
think it's
crazy. I
happening.
usually don't know people by name, and I know him.
Right, right. But it's not happening for any of the cast members in the sequel trilogies. So
Hmm.
it's not just her. That's just that goes to show like that just it was bad.
Hmm.
Like even looking back to the prequels, right? With Anakin and Obi-Wan and all that, Ewan McGregor, his he's still making movies to this day, right? You see him in like everything still. So even Liam Neeson, right? He was only in one movie, but he's still doing good afterwards because for whatever people have their discrepancies with those movies too, but they weren't as bad. They weren't as bad. So I don't know. To me, that proves it even more. And it's not her. It's just the way the character was written.
Hmm.
And that was what I was scared going into Mario, that she was kind of going to be like that.
Hmm.
And she was kind of, Princess Peach was kind of like that when they did the whole obstacle thing, and she was
Hmm.
like, oh, this and this and this. But then they kind of like dropped it after that.
Hmm.
right? And they focused more on Mario. She had her moments, but it was equal, it was
Right.
balanced. Whereas, Ray was just like, I know how to do everything without no training, right? I
Mhm.
can't buy into that. I need that hero's journey. I need to see that story. But, sorry, I'm venting again.
No, it's good though. We need this backstory. We need like that further explanation. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Sibling rivalry. We're siblings. I'm Lynn. This is Ray, and we just come on here Tuesdays and Thursdays, and
Peace.
we have discussions. We talk about tough subjects. We talk about more lighthearted subjects. Like today, we're kind of talking about movies and animation. If you're new around here, consider subscribing and join the conversation. Throw something in the chats, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So in closing, I mean, we're talking about movies. What, you have any movies you're looking forward to, Lynn?
From seeing the previews, there were a few things. It was just funny because all the previews, like, I remember you talking about. So, like, they definitely saw, like, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles preview, and I saw April, and then I was just, like, talking crap about April because, we had talked about that before.
Oh, that's
What am I looking
hilarious. So
forward to seeing?
you were talking crap about April.
I
That's hilarious.
was, I was. Even when they were showing like the Star Wars thing about like the live, interactions that you can have down in Disney. I was like, oh yeah, they're only open 2 days a week.
You're the worst. I'm corrupting you, man. I've
You
always
sure
corrupted you, man. As
are.
your older brother, I always corrupted you. That's hilarious.
I can't remember any movies that I want to see, but there was definitely 2 previews. I was like,
None
oh,
of the trailers? Because, like, my youngest, he saw the trailer and he was like, he wants to see everything now.
right,
I think there was
right.
the new
I mean, that's
Spider-Man,
not kind of.
that's coming out.
That was one of them. I do want to see the new Spider-Man one.
The new Turtles, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's next month. That's crazy. Guardians of the Galaxy, the
I don't
last
think we
one.
saw that preview of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Transformers, Fast and
That's the other one.
Furious.
Transformers, they have me. That's another like
Yeah.
childhood kind of thing. There's just like
Beast
nostalgia
Wars,
there.
right? Beast Wars. I was so
There's just
excited,
something
man.
so cool about it. Like every time they
Yeah.
do like their transformations and everything, I'm just like, yo,
And the
I
sound,
gotta see that.
when they transform. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then oh man, you definitely could tell like the summer's like around the corner when they start showing all the trailers for the popcorn flicks.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, man. I just love it. I love everything about the summer. It's like
Yeah.
the movies, going to the beach, just everything. Ah, it's great.
All right. Well.
But in closing, bam! Look at my little drawing.
Oh my
These are
God!
my
Look at
kids,
Mando
and they're drawing.
and Baby
I tell
Yoda.
you, we're definitely a Star Wars
I
house.
love it. Look at him.
It's funny too because these were on my fridge, and I looked over here, and I'm like, oh shit, we're talking about Star Wars. Let me show you them.
Yeah.
So that's it. You see, and this is what it's all about. This right here, being iconic that kids want to draw your character.
Yes.
And they're
the ones, when you walk into a store, your kids are the ones who influence your purchases.
Right.
So like when your kid walks in, they're like, ooh, like there's the Wookiee, I want him. Or like,
right.
Ooh, there's Baby Yoda, I want him. That's what you need to have in the stores.
Right. Like there's a little bag. You said the Wookiee. There's like a little side bag, a sling bag that you could buy. That's like it's Chewbacca, but when you sling it over, it's his belt. So it's his belt as the thing, and then you have it slinged over here. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And those are the things like that to me. If you're inspiring to create things like this, right? Write your character good. Write your character good. Let them be. If your character is going to influence childhood memories and childhood, and they're going to inspire to be that character, teach them to be good. Don't make them be this like arrogant person that nobody wants to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what unfortunately a lot of these female characters are written like that. So these little girls are drawing these pictures. Oh, I want to be Rey, or I want to be Captain Marvel. I want to be this, and then they're going to inspire to be these arrogant people that. You got to be a product of society, right? You got to be part of society. You got to have that fellowship. You got to be around other people. Like, let's not create people to be like that. And so that's my thing. It's like, that's why going back to Mario, I really like that they had where Peach was having that bond with Mario, and they actually took the time to build that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. I hope you have a great weekend. We're going into the weekend here, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Peace. Have a good weekend. Love you guys.